What's going on, guys? It's your boy HQ420 here, welcoming y'all back. Another episode of Showtime with the Cube. We have got the council with us this afternoon for John Wick Chapter 4. We've got the powerful one, Corey Hughes. Corey, are you doing good?
Roar. I'm powerful, so I'm roaring.
Hear me roar. We've got the aficionado himself, Ryder Lee. Ryder, you doing well this afternoon?
Fantastic, Cube. And I'm glad to hear Corey say something other than good and then freak out during the entire show. So this is going to be a good one.
Ain't got nothing to freak out about today.
This is true. Take care of a little housekeeping around here. If it's the first time to the channel, you're watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you listen to us on podcast platform, hit the follow button there. Appreciate everybody who's been checking us out so far. So as I said earlier, we're going to be talking today about the newest movie in the John Wick series, John Wick Chapter 4. All right. The longest runtime of any of the John Wick movies, but I didn't feel the runtime. I want to know, did you feel the runtime when you were watching the movie, Ryder? Did it feel like it was long?
Yes, I did. It did feel long.
Okay,
but that's not like a bad thing. It's not like anything against the movie. It's just a long ass time to sit in the theater. My ass was like numb whenever I got up, but that doesn't take away anything from the movie. The movie was still freaking solid. I think that it probably needed to be that long. I just don't want to sit in a theater that long. I don't mind sitting in my house in my comfy armchair for 2.5 hours or 3 hours, however long, because then I can pause it, get up, go do something. But you're in a theater, dude.
Smoke some weed.
No, I don't smoke any weed. That's all you, bro. But if you're sitting in a theater, it's completely different. Like, it's like, I just don't want to sit there that long, dude. Like, make the movie. If you're going to go to the theater, don't make it. I don't know. Again, it didn't take any thing away from the movie. It was still a really good movie. Just a little tad long. Just when you think, but that's kind of how all of them have been. Just when you thought that it was over and it was getting ready to end, there's another 20 minutes. And then when you think that 20 minutes is getting ready to end, there's another 20 minutes. And you're like, fuck.
Yeah, just when you thought, oh, that's the last bad guy he's got to kill. Here goes 30 more bad guys. You're like, oh, never mind. I mean, you're like, oh, this scene is done. This scene is done. Oh, here comes 15 more guys. Never mind. He's still got these 15. Oh, he made it through that. Oh, five more. There goes 5 more again. Corey, did you feel the runtime? Could you feel it?
I'm going to have to say yes, but the movie had a good flow. I didn't have to get up and go to the bathroom or nothing like that. I wasn't checking my watch, but at a certain point in time, I was like, damn, this movie's been on for about 2 hours already. And that was it. That was my observation. So
that was as far as I got.
That was as far as I got.
Yeah.
So this I thought was another excellent installment. It was obviously one of the more thought out editions. Each one, you can tell they stepped up the screenwriting a little bit, because the first one was about as simple as it gets. Killed my dog, and I'm coming for you. That was it.
My car. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. The second one, they stepped it up. The third one had an even more complex storyline to it. Right. And when they, I give a lot of credit to the guys who wrote this, because it was simple, and like the best things out there are simple. But the fourth one, you can tell that they needed to evolve the story without going overboard. Emphasize that the table and the people who work under the table are this like unique club that is just kind of interspersed amongst us like a secret society. They maintained that very well. The writing on this was excellent. And considering that the whole point of the movie is just to see John Wick do a bunch of kung fu and shoot a bunch of people, the fact that they can interlace that with an actual real good storyline, I thought is impressive. So you can see the evolution of the series, starting with a very simple action movie, nothing overly intellectual in the first one. And they grew the idea of the table and the complexity of the table ever since. And it was fucking great. Now, we spoil shit here. So obviously, at the end of John Wick 4, they show him fall over on a stoop and then he's buried, right? So we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff in the middle here, but I need to make this point. It's all been about the development of the table and his wanting to get away from the table and then getting back in to get back out, right? And so now he's at the point where he's been betrayed by them and he never took out the table. So despite any rumors or leaked information about John Wick 5 that we'd had months ago, the idea that there has to be a John Wick 5 because he never took out the table, which was the whole point in the first place of John Wick 4, that shows that there has to be another one where the whole point is he takes out the table. Because in this one, he takes out, what's the main bad guy's name?
The Marquis.
Marquis.
It's the Marquis.
So the Marquis is just another one of the schleps under the table. He might be a higher up. He might have some sort of seemingly familial or aristocratic connection to the table, but he was not the table. He was just acting on behalf of the table. So that's not good enough. Not for me. It better not be good enough for John Wick. And it better not be good enough for this goddamn series. Because the table needs to go. That was the whole point of him coming back, to seek revenge on the table. Never happened. Didn't happen in this fucking movie at all. So it has to happen. If it doesn't happen, then John Wick as a series, from a thematic point of view, is a blatant failure. You can't introduce an important theme of destroying the table and then not destroy the table, right? So the entire hopes and dreams and legacy of the series is dependent upon the next film. Period. No matter how good this film was, it was one step on a big staircase. Okay. So there was no feeling of finality. There was no closure. There was none of that. The table still exists, and the injustices that led to John Wick's issues with them have been exacerbated, which now led to his alleged death, right? So, no, the table can't win, period. So, yes, there has to be another John Wick coming because of that one fact alone. And also, in the future, looking at the credibility of the studio and the writers who put this out, if they don't follow that theme to completion and with number 5 and end the table, or at least if they're going to continue it to number 6. Well, if you go to 6, you got to go to 10. So that's kind of a lot. I'd say they ended it with number 5.
We're gonna go the Fast and Furious saga. We're gonna do a saga.
I got OCD thing about round numbers, so you can't have a series end on 6.
Y'all around for this? Is this live? I mean, come on.
So, but you understand what I'm saying, right? There's no closure. There's no feeling of closure here. So all the stuff that you're hearing about the studios, they're considering a number 5. They are bullshitting. They know they're making a number 5. They know it's been in the works for months because they let it slip months ago that they were going to do the 2 of them back to back. Anything you hear from the studio is them jerking us off because they know the deal and they're pretending like they don't know the deal as to leave some kind of suspense. There's no suspense.
And when Corey
getting
John Wick, they're jerking. Yeah. When Corey says they're jerking you off, this is one of those ones where they edge you, like, and you never get to finish, and then eventually they just leave you there and it gets soft, and you're like, yeah, I feel bad about this.
That could happen if the table doesn't end up being eliminated in the next fucking. Now here's a problem. Here's something what we don't want is a Shazam Part 3. Right? We don't want John Wick 5 to be Shazam 3, where he turns all his friends into badasses and then he's part of a team. Because John Wick ain't part of no fucking team. Okay? He's not part of a team. He's got support, and that's it. Right? So if he comes back and he's got a superhero team that goes out and takes that, then that's fucking. So yeah, there's like the series is going to be made or break. What is the series? Make it or break it.
Make or break. Yeah.
There has to be a number 5. It has to conclude the series, or else everything that we're talking about right now is nothing more than just bullshit.
You heard it here first, folks. If there's not a number 5 John Wick, then Corey hates 1 through 4, and they all suck.
There you go.
This is the mind of Corey. Okay, this is the mind of Corey.
They gotta keep being good. They gotta keep being good from here on out. If they don't, then they all suck.
Hey! Thanos said it better.
You cannot live with your own failure.
I don't want to feel like.
Back to me.
I don't want to feel like This shit with George R.R. Martin with Game of Thrones, and everyone knew that he didn't write the last book, and they're like, "Oh, he better write that book. Oh, the season's coming. He's got 5 years to write it. He's going to write the book." He never wrote the goddamn book. And then what happened in the last seasons of Game of Thrones? It was garbage, right? So I feel like Game of Thrones was never really finished because it was never finished by the author. And so they can't do that to John Wick. John Wick has the potential to go down in history as one of the single best, greatest action series of all time. They can't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Because if they fuck up number 5, like Ryder said, they all suck.
Yeah. So we continue the lore expanding here. Of course, who would have thought that Sharon, which was the manager's concierge, would have died in this movie, and then he died in real life? I was like, wow. I was not expecting that.
Yes. So I kind of thought like most woke fucking Hollywood fucks would delete that scene. They would remove the scene of him dying, considering he just died. They left it. But then again, did it come out and then he died immediately after, or did he die and then it came out? Yeah, he died first and then it came out. So yeah.
It was already done, post-production, all that.
I give them props for leaving that in there. There's no reason to take it out, but we've seen before that they've done stuff like that in Hollywood because they have no soul.
Yeah, and he gets taken out early too, as the Marquis is talking to the manager.
I wonder why that was.
Continental in New York.
I wonder why. Did they just not have enough written in the movie for him?
No, well, it was supposed to be like a symbol to show you. Well, he said to the manager, well, seeing how you don't have a Continental, you no longer need a concierge. And so that was supposed to be your punishment, that you had to live with the fact that you failed your concierge and his blood is on your hands because of your failure. So it's kind of that, living with the fact, like old movies used to do this. They used to come by and then they would kill all your kids and your wife, and then they beat you to a pulp and leave you there. They thought they left you for dead, and then you come back later on. It's kind of that same kind of trope. What do you think about that, Ryder?
Yeah, that was kind of what he was wrestling with in the film itself. He was like, "Oh, well, why did they kill the?" I think John Wick even asked him, like, "Why did they, kill the concierge?" And so yeah, that was something interesting like that happened with the Foo Fighters too. Dave Grohl, did you guys see that Foo Fighters movie that they made that they're writing a new album in like a haunted house? It was actually a pretty good movie. But he kills his drummer in the movie, and then a week later,
drummer dies in real life.
It's wild.
That's some weird shit, man.
Well, he murdered the drummer. He made him get that shot. Didn't know how that went?
That's the theory.
Well, I mean, maybe. Hey, look. This is all alleged.
If you take nothing away from the show, take away that Dave Grohl is a murderer.
Yeah. If you didn't get anything else out of this, all right. We'll just mark that down. We'll just make a clip out of that. That'll just be the clip, 15-second clip. I'm pretty sure there'll be a lawsuit on the way for that. No, I don't know what you're gonna sue us for. I mean, you got plenty of money. But yeah. So right out the gate, the concierge gets dropped. The Continental gets bombed. It kind of sets up the Marquis as a guy to be feared, but he's almost kind of like a pretty boy that just got put in the position. He's not exactly. So when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, getting out there in the trenches and really, fighting people and things of that nature, he's not that guy. He's not that guy at all. And we see that throughout the film. How you think they, and I can't help, because that's Bill Skarsgård, I can't help but every time I seen that dude, all I saw was damn Pennywise. That's what I seen. I seen
Is he
Pennywise
related to the other Skarsgård?
I don't think so. Alexander, I don't think he's related to him. But all I saw was Pennywise. I saw it the whole time. I'm like, damn it, I can't help but to see it. Every time he chuckled and everything.
I think he's a solid actor. He's been in a lot of good stuff. So, and he plays a good bad guy. So I think that he's kind of been typecasted in these roles a little bit, but still he did a really good job. And I like how the beginning of this movie opened up too. He immediately went to the desert and killed those freaking people that he thought were the table. And then the table leader was like, yeah, they're just gonna, if you're gonna kill me, they're just gonna replace me with a new head. And that's exactly what happened. What I thought was interesting was the Asian continental. Where was that at? Japan or China?
Oh, yeah.
Korea or wherever one of those Asian
Japan.
places.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty badass. Like, all those people meant business in that continental hotel. They were they were there for it, Bo. They were there. They showed up, and I thought that was kind of interesting. I was like, maybe we'll just keep it in this Asian country for a little bit. Let's just pick John Wick.
That's what I kind of thought.
I was like, hey, let's just keep it here. This seems new and cool and awesome. I don't know. I liked it. Thought it was good.
Yeah, Shimazu. If I said that name right, guys, if I butchered it, that's okay. But he's been in a lot right here recently. He's our resident ninja. That's what he is. He's the resident ninja. Anything ninja related, he's the resident ninja guy right now. That's the guy you go to. Of course, he was a Scorpion in the latest Mortal Kombat movie. So anything kung fu wise, he's one of the guys you go to. I thought he did really well. John Wick's got a whole lot of folk that like him. I do know that. He's got a lot of folk that admire him and actually like him.
I'll tell you how good this film was. This film was so good that it suspended our disbelief that a blind man can go into a gunfight with 20, 30, 40, 50 people and not get shot or hurt or injured once.
Yeah.
That's how good the movie was. And I like how they initially set it up because they had him put those Chinese doorbells. He stuck those Chinese doorbells all around the area so he knew where to shoot and then, where to whip out his cane sword and get the slicing and dicing. That was pretty cool. But then he just stopped using that. And then he just had like supersonic abilities to be able to know when
almost like Daredevil.
Throwing a punch.
Is he the Daredevil of John Wick? Of John Wick universe? Except like he kills people. the Daredevil of the John Wick universe. Hey, look, I just know one thing. Every time they use that guy, which his name was Kane in this movie, let me see, his real name's Donnie Yen, but every time they use him, I've seen right here lately, he's blind. If you remember, in Rogue One, he was blind. He was blind in Rogue One.
Holy shit!
The same guy.
Holy shit! I was wondering, the same fucking guy.
I was wondering if he was. Yeah, I was wondering if he was blind in real life, but he's not. He can see.
I liked him a lot better than John Wick.
Yeah, I was like, they're really blind. Well, I mean, he was a force sensitive in Rogue One, man. He was force sensitive. So I mean, it was kind of somewhat kung fu-y.
He was also in all the Ip Man movies as well. He's like a real martial artist. Yeah, Ip Man. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a famous kung fu dude or something.
Yeah.
Mostly in like Chinese or Japanese movies. I don't know. Chinese, Japanese, all the same, right?
Yeah, it's something like that. He's in Mulan, Enter the Fat Dragon. Yeah, you're right. IP Man. I think he's a kung fu guy. I think he is IP Man.
Yeah.
He's in he's in Triple X. I mean, come on now. Return of Xander Cage. I mean, come on now.
Is that the one with Ice Cube, bro?
No, that was the second one. I don't know what the hell they were doing there.
I really liked the role because it was like, I'm out. Well, the table says when you're out, but I'm out. And you could tell he didn't want to do it. And then the whole time he's like, that's one thing I like about the relationships within the John Wick film, because like these guys are friends, but they might have to kill each other. So like they can be cool with each other, man. Hey man, it's good seeing you again. Sorry, but man, I got to kill you. I like that. It's a nice camaraderie in it.
Well, yeah, the thing that they didn't use in this one, like they did in John Wick 2, was the marker. So the guy in John Wick 2 had a marker which forced John Wick to uphold the blood oath he had made with that marker. So they didn't use that here.
Too. They used that with Halle Berry in the third one as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they didn't use that here. They just used pretty much, a threat. Hey, you like your daughter being alive, right? Yeah. Well, you gonna do what we ask you to do, or we'll kill her. I was like, well, damn. I mean, that was pretty much it. It was what they quid pro quo. That's what they call it.
What's the deal with them doing something super fucked up to all the assassins that they hire? Like, what's the deal with that? Like, chopping their fingers off. That's how that one dude was. Donnie Yen was blind. That's what they did to him.
Yeah, he cut his own eyes out.
What is the deal with that? Is that not a hindrance to your job? Like, do you not need fingers doing this assassin work and this assassin? Do you not need eyes? Do they think that a legit blind man can actually do all this shit in real life?
Dude's bad like that. Bro. He probably did a bunch of training blindfolded. That's what I would guess. He probably did the majority of his training blindfolded. Doesn't that seem like it could be the case?
Like, brand them or do something else, or give them 20 whips to the back with a knife or some shit. Like, don't take off limbs that are important for them to actually do the job that you're wanting them to do. Makes zero sense.
Yeah. I mean, you're right about that. But I figure that they say that this is the best of the best. Okay, this is the best of the best. So the best of the best will be able to handle it. Now, here's my real question, okay? Here's my real question. And I've got this question for the entire series, especially when we got into John Wick number 3 and in this particular one. Is there that many people in the world that need killing? I mean, Bo, there are assassins everywhere, man. Is there that many people that needs killing? I mean, y'all need to let me know. They out the woodwork. They homeless dudes on the side of the road. I mean, oh shit, man, $1 million, I'm ready. I'm like, that many folk need killing. I mean, come on, man. Do we think? Let's just talk about times. Right? Do we think that there's 1 million assassins?
Well, apparently the assassin people run the entire world in this reality. I mean, apparently you can just shoot people in public and fire guns in public, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is just some normal shit." Didn't they have a whole fucking blockade of going on in London, with a bunch of cars just running past them, like nothing's going on, like there's gunfire, there's people with fucking machine guns and shit, people are getting shot in the head right out in the middle of the public, and there's no police? Where the fuck are the police?
They already called him off. Hey, look, y'all might not want to come out tonight, okay? Just stay home. This is not a good night to be out, okay? This is just not a good night to be out.
One car crashes on a highway, they shut down the entire freaking highway. There was 20 cars that crashed in this little part of freaking China or London or whatever country that they were in, and there were still cars flying by. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, that's a bad circle too. It just looks like you just drive in that circle. I'm not really sure how you get out of that circle. I could see that being the old country, England, old England out there. I'm just like, y'all ain't got no lines on the road or nothing. Y'all just drive on cobblestone. I'm like, this is what we're doing. I mean, is this what we're doing? Okay, I got you. That's no problem. We skipped a lot. That's okay. That's all good. Of course, the leader of the Continental in Japan, Mr. Shimazu, he gets killed. All right, he gets killed by Kane, and Kane is he deadly with that blade. It doesn't even look like he actually stabs you fully. He hits you about 3 times, and that's it. And his daughter actually told John Wick, it said, "Hey, either you kill him or I'm gonna kill him," which we get some payoff at the end of the movie for that particular line, as it did have a post-credit scene. I didn't know if people knew it had a post-credit scene. A lot of people left, but this film did have a post-credit scene.
We looked it up.
Okay, you did look at it. Okay, all right. So I want to make sure, because a lot of people left, like the whole theater left, and I was just like,
here's the thing, like,
why do I think there's a post-credit scene?
With the post-credit scene, you're supposed to have this feeling of I don't know, a hook for the next film, or something along those lines, something that gets you excited, but it's separate from the actual story of the film. How the fuck are you going to kill John Wick, put him in the ground, and then, number one, expect people to sit around and wait for a post-credit scene, and number two, have a post-credit scene that really is, in the scheme of things, fairly irrelevant. It didn't have anything to do directly with John Wick. It didn't have anything to do with the future. It was not relevant. It was okay. If you're going to end a film series, which was, I guess what they're saying their intention was with this, which is a lie. If that's the case, you're not going to fucking close out a series with a post-credit scene, showing some minor retribution. It's ridiculous. Here's the thing.
It's minor.
Half of this movie doesn't make any sense unless there's a fifth one. I mean, that's a reality. We have to have a fifth one to get closure, or else this one is a transitional film that should not be a closer. And that's how I feel about it.
I would be happy if it was the last film. If they don't make a fifth one, good with it. I thought it was solid enough that they could just leave it if they wanted to. I mean, obviously they're not going to leave it. They're going to make another one. I mean, it's
right.
I mean, it's apparent that they're making.
Let me put this in the context, though. Fucking John Wick's dog gets killed. He goes on a revenge spree to get out of his dealings with the table. He has to do a whole bunch of stuff, and then he goes to war with the table. And then how would it be if the series ended with the table beating John Wick and he dies? Give me a fucking break. It's so anticlimactic. It can't be the end because it's if by some chance they don't make another one and it ends with this, it's atrocious. Because how the fuck is the table going to beat John Wick? And that's where we're at the end of 4. The table beat John Wick. Hands down.
Well,
there's no other way to interpret it. So it cannot be the end.
Maybe he had an epiphany, right? Whenever he went and killed that dude in the desert, and the dude in the desert made sense to him, he was like, they're just going to replace me. And then they did replace him with this marquee dude. He goes and he's like, okay, well, I realized that killing that dude in the desert did absolutely nothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out this marquee dude, then I'm going to lay on these steps, and then I'm going to die. I'm going to save my friend in the process. There's nothing more that I can do.
And his daughter.
And his daughter. Saving his
daughter.
Here's
another thought. Here's another thought that we haven't considered, that nobody's considered. This final closing scene with him and getting, showing the gravestone and this and that. They didn't give us any really key time frame on that. A whole movie could have occurred between the time he falls over on the steps and the end of the series.
So this is true.
He could go and take out really, they could have just been flash forwarding. I mean, theoretically speaking.
This is true.
John Wick 5 could be he gets up off the stairs, does what he does, takes out the table, dies in the process, and that's them back at the grave. So
that would be interesting. That would actually be really cool.
Damn, Corey, that was good.
I'm a genius.
They're not going to do that, though. Look. That was good. They're not going to do that. They're definitely not going to do that. It sounded real good, so they're definitely going a different direction. With that, it's like, well, John Wick was never dead, and we just faked that, and so the table would leave him alone because we know the table wouldn't leave him alone. So and then so he can kind of hunt the table in secret. Maybe he shaves his beard off, potentially all the way off, cuts his hair back.
He can be a real boogeyman that way. He can be the
true boogeyman. Yeah. He would be the true boogeyman that way. So pretty much what we have in this film is 2.5 hours of folks getting shot, throats getting slit. Yeah. I mean, that's what this movie is. I mean, it's like pure action. You have tiny moments where they've got to take a breather because John Wick needs to get a gun, or he needs to get a new suit, or they need to change locations. But that's it. But we do as we talked about, we introduce a new assassin, Kane, the blind assassin, and then we also introduce the black gentleman with his dog, he says he's nobody. The movie calls him Tracker. What do y'all think about his character and the basis of how he's interconnected and everything now and in the future? Corey, I'll let you go.
personally, I thought it was a waste of a role. There was no need for him to exist. It didn't add anything to the film. Okay. It didn't benefit the film. I'm confused as to why he was there. Was he there to help John Wick? Was he there to hurt John Wick? He's cutting deals to take him out for $20 and $40 million, but he's helping him. Nothing about that character made any sense whatsoever to me. And so
he was crying at the end. He was crying, tears shed. He was shedding tears for John Wick at the end.
This is the weakness. His character was the weakness of the whole film. Although his dog was badass.
Maybe a black quota. Maybe we need a black quota.
No, there's a bunch of black guys in the film. They didn't need a.
Yeah, but one died early, so we got to get one back in there. One died so early. He died so early in the film.
I've been seeing black men in movies my whole life, so the idea that they would have to pad the movie with black people is a little over the top woke.
I wouldn't say pad it, but I mean, look, man, we've got a white dude. Okay, we've got a white guy who was the leader of the movie. Okay, Keanu Reeves. We've got us an Asian. Okay.
So see, here's the thing. Here's the thing with woke rules. If you got an Asian, it fills the role of everything. You don't need nothing else. If you got an Asian, you don't have to have nobody else. You could just have an Asian.
Asian's
and it
pretty
fills
much
in the minority
white.
gap.
Asian's kind of white.
It's kind of white. They wouldn't consider.
Asian's kind of white.
Well, they're smarter than us.
Right. What do you think? I mean, when you think Asian, guys, we're getting into a little bit of a racial breakdown here. We think Asian, okay? When people think Asian, especially in the United States, most people just think white.
I think pork fried rice.
A person of color.
That's true, but it seems like that in movies they try and get the most Asianist Asian person ever to be in the movies. They want the most slanted-eyed Asian person. They don't want the audience.
No, that might have been racist, really.
Well, it's true. Watch any movie, you'll see the most slanted-eyed Asian people you've ever seen in your life. They don't want the audience to mistake the Asian people in film for being white. That's why they got to be super slanty-eyed.
So,
I mean, it's just a fact of cinema, guys. Come on.
I really am growing to resent the token Asian female character. If you haven't noticed, the token Asian female is replacing the token black male in most things. Like they got him in S.H.I.E.L.D., like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, yeah.
What else? The new Quantum Leap series. There's a whole bunch. Like, what was there? I can think of a whole bunch of them, but I can't think of names off the top of my head. But
here's one thing I do know. All of those Ling-Lings, they could get it. There ain't no doubt about it. All of them are right. All those Ling-Lings could get it. Hey, look, man. I mean, I know the bell tolling on this episode as we continue to go along, but that's okay. That's okay. Hey, look, this is some of those shenanigans that somebody talked about on a previous video I did. They might be of the white variety. This is what they kind of look like. You kind of go off the rails. Hey, but the Ling-Lings are hot. You know, I mean, the girl, the home dude's daughter at the Continental. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, she looked good. I mean, let's not cut no corners, okay?
And I love how she whips off her Japanese dress or whatever, and she's all like ready. She's like stoked. She's like,
oh yeah,
got the leather and all that, and the knives and the fucking guns already ready to go. She was ready.
She was ready to fight.
She was prime. She was wet as fuck. Ready. So slippery underneath that leather.
You know what I noticed about the Japanese Continental as opposed to the New York one? The New York one seemed so stagnant. The Japanese one had like life to it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It had like some life to it. Like some, you know, you go there to party. You know what I'm saying? Maybe get you some center cut. I'll just like, you know, they might have the hookers there. You know what I'm saying? The New York Continental is just like it's like a dungeon. You got a single bed, one window. You can barely see out of it. It's about that big. You're like, man, this is a bad. The bar's dark. You're just like, man, this is a drag being here, man. You went to Japan, you're like, whew, man, this is where I need to be. That's the Continental I would be at. And they knew some English too. So shit, I ain't got to know Japanese. I just know English. You know, just roll right in there. Well, I mean, what do you think about that, Ryder? Which continent would you rather be at?
Japanese one faux show. That one's a fucking party, dude.
And they got Ling-Lings. They had women there. They had Ling-Lings. I mean,
Yeah, you're right. The New York one is like stoic and like creepy. They're trying to like keep it undercover, but I think in Japan they're just out in the open with it. They're like, yeah, this is what we're doing here. We're fucking assassin motherfuckers. We don't give a shit. We'll do whatever. But the one in New York is like kind of like, nah, we're not going to blow our cover on this whole thing. There might be some more civility in the United States, but there's still a lot of assassins. Like, I don't know who all those assassins are for. I don't get it. But yeah, I would rather be at the Japanese Continental, and I wish we would have stayed there. I wish the movie would have just picked up.
I thought we were going to stay there.
Right there in Japan, and we would have finished out the whole bad boy right there in Japan. Way more interesting. We already know about the New York Continental. We already know what's going on there. Ain't much going on there. So let's spice it up with the Japanese. Yeah.
Which the Marquis, he doesn't have a continental per se. He's just part of the high table's goons. He's like a underling goon of the high table. He has high status, plenty of cash. But as they said, if you just kill him, he's replaceable, which is why you have to go to the old ways, which is to challenge somebody to a duel. I was like, oh man, pistols at dawn. I said, oh shit, pistols at dawn. I mean, when the last time you heard that? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
what was the deal with the cards in that? Were those like tarot cards, or like what were they flipping over when they were doing that? I don't understand.
I didn't know. They were talking at the same time. Yeah, they were talking at the same time, like they knew exactly what was underneath the cards. I was like, I thought y'all were flipping them at random. Like,
yeah.
Well, one thing about John Wick is it likes to introduce things that are mysterious, like the coin. What's the significance of the coin? It's not just money; it's a pass, right? It's an identification marker. So they introduce things and they don't give you an explanation to kind of have you figure it out. They kind of like doing that, you know. So, but I like it. I appreciate the mystique.
Yeah. Now the Marquis, he had his minions, and I didn't realize that everybody has Kevlar suits that the bullets don't penetrate. This makes people extremely hard to kill. I mean, this makes the killing extremely hard, extremely difficult. Everybody's got the Kevlar suits, and I'm just like, because at first, whenever they shot him at the Japanese Continental, shot the. I don't even think they gave that guy a name. He was just like the main goon for the Marquis. But when they shot him and he threw his arm up, I said, "Oh shit, he must have a metal arm or something." And then they started shooting him in the back. I was like, "Oh, the whole suit's Kevlar." Okay,
well, they kind of
bullet just bounced right off.
They kind of introduced that into the third one as well as
they had the third one.
Were coming in to take over the New York Continental. They were
they had the full body armor, which they had him in this one too.
Yeah.
In that Japanese scene where you had to get up close and personal, put the gun up underneath them, but up underneath their helmet and all that. But John Wick, Kane, you know, all of them, they were making quick work of those guys. So as Corey was saying about Nobody, he felt like he wasn't needed in the film. Ryder, how do you feel about Mr. Nobody, the black gentleman with his dog? How do you feel about him and his impact on the movie?
Well, John Wick's always got to have like a support character. He's had a support character in almost every single one of the films. You know, the second one was William Dafoe. The third one was Halle Berry. This one is this new gentleman. You know, he's always got to have somebody there to kind of have his back to come in and take out the bad guys when the bad guys has got the upper hand on him. So that's a trope that they've played through every one of the movies. So it did serve a purpose in the movie to, you know, kind of have John Wick's back. That's really the only purpose, just like William Dafoe's character, just like Halle Berry's character as well. So it's nothing new.
Right.
They just regurgitated what they had done in the past. So I didn't really fault it for that because it's just always been there.
Okay. They do kind of make it seem like he might be an integral part in maybe the next film, potentially. I think they'll probably bring him back. Of course, he had the moment of epiphany that, you know, I mean, John Wick's a good guy whenever he saved his dog from the Marquis head goon, killing him. Of course, John Wick immediately went to that. Of course, we're going back to the first film. That was a hiatus to, or onus to the first film. with John Wick's dog getting killed in that first film. So it kind of jumped back. So that's how it kind of tied those films together. I didn't notice that trope. I think my favorite part of this movie was the card game with the fat dude in the club that was Scott Adkins. I didn't even realize that was him, because and then all of a sudden I was like, man, this fat dude can kick. I said, where'd they find this guy? He's so damn nimble. And then it's like, oh yeah, it's Scott Adkins in a fat suit. I was like, oh holy shit, it is.
Oh, so that guy's not really fat?
No, Scott Adkins, no, dude. He's like a real martial artist. Like he's been in a whole lot of martial arts films. Let me pull this image up for y'all, so maybe I don't want to. Okay, I'll pull this up because he was a boxer in the movie. Yeah, so let me pull this image up for y'all, Scott Adkins. Yeah, so yeah, he was what was he? He was in the Expendables. Yeah, so let me pull this up. Yeah, so that's him. There he is right there, Scott Adkins.
The character was great. I thought he was perfect in the lineup of John Wick universe characters. Mysterious, in the know, but doesn't really flaunt it. Like there was a lot of things about him that were perfectly in line with previous characters we had met along the way.
Yeah. Now, what was key about him is that he was in the triage of John Wick trying to get invited back into a family so he could formally duel the Marquis. That was the whole premise of that there. And this particular gentleman had actually killed the father of the family that he had went back to. So in order for him to get back in the fold, they're like, hey, you got to kill the guy who killed our father. He killed our father because of you. But John Wick's got a whole bunch of folk killed. But I mean, he can't help that. Look, man, you need to learn how to protect yourself, okay? That's all I know. Okay, protect your neck out here. Come on now. Man, what you think this is, all right? You know when I started killing folk, then I was going to kill a whole bunch of folk, all right? So you just need to be ready. But I thought that whole scene there, the card game they played, I'm like, the dude's going to cheat. There ain't no way he ain't going to cheat. And Kane's like, let me guess, 5 of a kind. And of course, then you have a hell of a fight between John Wick and Scott Adkins. Dude, I mean, Scott Adkins had the upper hand for a lot of the fight. Like he was running from him, then he started fighting. I was like, damn, this dude can scrap. I mean, this dude can straight up scrap. But I thought that was a great sequence. And once you thought the fight was going to be over, he was going to get away, he had to stop and fight again. Ryder, what you think about that sequence with that particular gentleman?
Yeah, I like the whole setup here. I thought that fat dude was an actual fat dude. They did a really good job on that makeup and doing that fat suit. I was like, dang, shit, it looks good. They did a really good job. I actually really like that one gentleman that was the Nordic-looking Viking dude that was a part of the Covenant or whatever that John Wick had to go to. What was his name? He just went up there and said his name. He was like, Bo Jenkins or some shit like that. It was fucking hilarious.
Smacked him to death. I am Bo Jenkins.
Just slapped him. That was shit. But yeah, I really liked that whole sequence. I felt like it was kind of drawn out. No, it could have been trimmed. They could have trimmed up that whole.
Oh no, it was was it? No, I don't think that was it. Was it Babushka?
Yeah,
I think it was Babushka.
It was something with a B. I didn't. I know I didn't get it.
I think it was Babushka. I am Babushka.
Yeah, something like that. But it was hilarious. I love that.
Yeah, Scott Adkins' character. His name's Killer. That's his name. His name is Killer in the movie, and obviously, Killer has some skills. Okay, he has some skills, but unfortunately, or fortunately, he met his final demise as he got knocked off of the side of a building and proceeded to land head first and broke his neck. And then John Wick's just sitting there punching him in the mouth. I'm like, John, I think he's dead. I was like, oh, he's trying to take something back to the other guy. I was like, I think the guy's dead. I was like, what's he doing? He just keeps hitting the guy. Takes the two back. He's able to get branded, become a part of the family. So he's able to get, now that he's a part of the family, he's able to do a formal challenge, a formal duel. Okay, we're going back to the old ways. We got to always make sure we stay with tradition in the old ways. All right, and the old ways say, that you get to have a duel at dawn. And I think that's mighty white of him. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a that's a good way to go about things. Like, let's be civil about this, okay? Let's be civil, and let's have the duel at dawn. But little did I know, and of course Winston is setting this up the whole time. He's in the background because he's got his own thing going on. He wants to get his Continental back, so he's got some things he's setting up in the background to help John Wick. And of course, we have a turn of events when the Marquis. I guess it's the old ways that if you're the one that's challenged, then you can have somebody go in your place. I was like, well, hot damn! I mean, Marquis, I thought you were ready. I thought the man was ready, but it's obvious that he don't truly get his hands dirty unless he's just already got the upper hand, where he can just somebody just stand there and just shoot him in the chest. So that's the vibe I got from the Marquis. Like, he actually wasn't. Could we say that he was an assassin? That he had been an assassin? I don't really feel like it. What do you think, Corey?
He seemed more like God, I don't even know how to say this. Like, not really a supervisor, but somebody who's not an assassin, but kind of worked in the logistics of the table.
Okay,
perhaps?
yeah, we can say that. Ryder, what do you think?
He was definitely someone's rich son.
Yes,
That's how I would describe him. Someone's rich son.
yeah. I think they even mentioned that in passing in the film that he's somebody's son. They mentioned, I think, his father or something like that for really quickly. But yeah, I'm very interested in that. And one character we haven't mentioned yet, which I absolutely loved, was none other than the fucking Kurgan, Clancy Brown. Clancy Brown shows up missing a finger, and then proceeds to be the, I guess, arbiter of this duel that is going to happen.
Oh yeah,
amazing character. Like, anything Clancy Brown touches just turns to gold. The guy is amazing. He was killer in the new season of Dexter. Hell, I can't think of anything the guy has not been good in. The guy's amazing. Like, the Kurgan is just one of the best roles in movie history. When he puts the safety pins in his neck and he's like, "I'm in disguise." That was one of the best lines ever. But yeah, Clancy Brown.
Yeah, I thought he
more
did
recognition.
good. Yeah. He did very good in his role. Of course, we did have the role reprise as well of Lawrence Fishburne as the Bowery King, but he just kind of seemed to be just kind of plucked in there in different parts to aid John Wick along the way. Of course, we did have a little bit of time for advertisement. In every movie, they advertise a gun for John Wick. In this movie, it was the Pit Viper, all right, the TTI Pit Viper, which you can go and purchase today for the low price of $7,000. All right, it's a real gun. You can go purchase today, TTI Pit Viper, for $7,000. Now, I seen somebody actually use that gun, and he said this is the best shooting gun that I've ever shot. I mean, it's got 21 rounds. He let off 21 rounds. I thought he was shooting a fully automatic pistol. I really did. That's how light the trigger is and how little muzzle kick you got. I was like, wow. So yeah, the Pit Viper. Now, if you want, you can get the Sand Viper, and that one has you can put the hollow sights on it. You can put the red dot. But yeah, there we go. TTI JW Pit Viper, JW4 Pit Viper.
Look at that.
And
look at that. Is that a safety on the hammer? I've never seen anything like that. Look at that. That's killer.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I mean, something like this is the top of the line metal that you could possibly use. Everything from the barrel to the slide to the trigger mechanisms are like just the absolute best materials in the world. I mean, the thing looks bad as fuck, doesn't it?
Yeah, and Terran Tactical actually makes all the John Wick collection, as you see up there, JW collection. So you can actually go and purchase the guns they made for the previous films as well in there. Yeah, so they've got the
dude, that shotgun. Look at that shotgun. Oh my god.
Yep.
To the listeners out there, we're going to start up a GoFundMe for guns. So just start to prepare for that, please. Look at that, the Benelli Gunsmith package for $1,500. dude, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Guns make me feel like a kid
they got a
in a candy
couple that's
store.
out of stock. There's a couple that's out of stock. Let's see. So yeah. All the guns. There are a couple up here that are out of stock. Some of them were probably from the older one. Yeah. So John Wick 3.
God, a $6,500 gun. Man, that's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah. So if your pockets are deep and you want you a pit viper, it is available. Okay, and it's more like a competition gun. The dude straight up said, he's like, I think that won a world competition. Somebody used that pit viper and won a world competition with it. But yeah, it's a straight up competition gun. So everything's top of the line on that. So
Competition guns are weird.
They had a moment for that.
I've been looking at some competition guns, and there's a lot of guns that are competition guns that just hold one round. Like you put the round in it, and then boom, and that's it. One shot. But it's competition. You're not really trying to,
Oh, okay.
Protect yourself.
Okay, yes, it is. So they had to have a moment to grift. They had a moment of grifting, a moment for advertising, as they do in all of them. Every time he says, I need a gun. You know what I'm saying? That's their moment to grift. All right. So we had that usual trope in this particular film. Now we get to the point where it's the night before he's supposed to go and duel, and of course Bill Skarsgård, the Marquis, he puts out the hit of all hits on John Wick, $40 million. Everybody wakes up from their slumber. I mean, dudes were in the back having sex, and their phone rang and saying 40 million. They put the drawers back on. I mean, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Somebody taking a dude, staying in white. They just got up, just mud butt, just butt cheeks flew together. Just, I gotta go. I need to be in the streets. Okay, I need to be in these streets. All right. And try to collect this 40 mil. All right, this 40 mil, which it doesn't seem like the Marquis gonna pay anybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's gonna pay anybody. The black dude, Mr. Nobody, he went up in there. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make some demands, and he got his hand stabbed for his troubles. I'm like, that didn't work out. I mean, you know what I'm saying. So the night before the duel, John Wick has to go through trials and tribulations. He has to fight the entire night before the duel, which is it's really tiring. I was just like, how's my man gonna do it? At the crack of dawn, he'd been fighting all night. I mean, been getting run over by cars. You know what I'm saying? Been getting shot in the back. I know it's Kevlar. Yeah, I mean, fall right off a building. I was just like, damn, bro. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Hey, and then when he got to the never ending steps, you know what I'm saying? He got thrown down the steps. When he got thrown down the steps, I'm like, is this dude gonna roll all the way to the bottom? That's what I thought he was gonna do. I thought he was gonna roll all the way down to the bottom. Now, of course, Kane comes around and helps him get to the top. And you kind of wonder if, because sometimes they clip stuff out. You wonder after they fought if they devised this plan on how they were going to get the Marquis as they were going up the steps towards the final duel. What do you think about that, Corey?
I don't know. In reference to that, I'm not sure, but I can tell you that I thought the scene with the steps was extremely symbolic. It was they made a big deal of it when they showed the beginning of the steps, right? There was like the way they zoomed and how the music was going. It was like it was like they were making a big deal of it. And to me, I interpreted the steps as like the final struggle. It was almost literal, like to get to the top. He had the final struggle to get to the top, and that was that. So, but yeah, they put a lot of emphasis on that, almost to the point where I'd say the stairs had its own theme. But yeah, that's about as far as I take it. Having to climb the mountain to get to the top to reap the reward.
Climb the mountain. What do you think, Roddy? Do you think Kane and John Wick had collaborated right at the top of the steps, and that's something that we didn't see on camera for the final duel?
It could have been, but then he could have not said anything to Kane. Kane could have not known anything about the plan, because it kind of seemed that way as they were, shooting each other. Kind of seemed like Kane didn't know anything about anything. And it was all kind of John Wick and what's his name from the Continental in New York
Winston.
plan.
Winston. Yeah, Winston. Yeah,
it's kind of him and
the
Winston's plan. to kind of.
Hang on a second. Didn't Winston die in real life a couple years ago? I thought Winston died in real life a couple years ago.
I don't think so.
What's his name?
Let's see here. Winston, Ian McShane. No, I think is he alive? Is he dead? Is he dead, guys?
Oh, he's obviously alive.
No, he's a man. He's alive, but I would have swore man. It's
he should be dead.
Yeah, he should be dead. He should be dead. No, because I used to watch him in Deadwood. If you have never seen Deadwood, Deadwood is a great series, a Western, and that was the first place I was introduced to him. And he was kind of like this. Basically, he's a guy who plays himself in every fucking movie, right? Every movie he plays the same character, and he played the same exact character in Deadwood. He's kind of like the head of I don't remember if he was the mayor or the head of the town, but he was a scumbag, right? And so, but I thought I remembered that he died because I thought something along those lines. But yeah, he's an amazing actor. He's done all kinds of stuff. I think he's Irish or Scottish or something like that. And I thought his role in this one was pretty good. I mean, all these guys are backstabbers, right? He comes off as John Wick's friend, and then he shoots him off the top of a building, which I think they joked about in this film. But overall, good character. Didn't have much exposure in this film, which is kind of a break. He's been kind of heavily featured in all the others.
Yeah. This is true. This is true. So, I'm kind of thinking the whole time. I'm like, well, damn, I didn't know how this was going to end. John Wick, of course, got shot, and I didn't realize he hadn't shot his round on the course of Marquis. Him thinking that he's extremely smart. Stepped in. Oh yeah, I want to be the one to put the bullet in John Wick. Yeah, I can stamp my name, and then he got shot directly in the head for his troubles on that. And my man, just as the old ways say.
This is the way.
Right there with, this is the way. I mean, I was just waiting for a Mandalorian to come out. That's all I'm saying. And my battery went dead. So I'm gonna do this. Incognito. Here we go. Incognito. Let's see if I can get. Let's see if I can get a damn camera. Lord have mercy. It's all good, guys. But yeah. So we had that finishing. We had John Wick die on the steps. Supposedly die on the steps. Maybe die on the steps, or maybe not. Okay, or maybe not. We told our theories about that. Corey, you had another theory that you had shared with me a couple days ago. Can you share that theory with us about who may be at the high table that may surprise Wick, Mr. Wick?
So, let me ask Ryder, because I didn't mention this to him. Ryder, if there could be anybody who was at the head of the high table, who do you think it could possibly be that would give this film series the biggest twist ending in the history of film series?
That's a really good question. The only person that I could think of is maybe Lawrence Fishburne's character.
See, the one character that jumped this whole thing off was the main reason we even have a John Wick film at all is his dead wife.
Ooh.
His dead wife has been almost never talked about, really, other than he had a wife and she's dead. And that's that. And she got him a dog. I think the biggest twist ending of all time could be that she never died and she's the head of the high table. That would be just the most badass fifth movie, and I think we need it. I think that's the John Wick film we need. He is alive. He takes out the table. He finally fights his way to the top, and he finds out it's his wife.
Yeah, that's a good theory. If I would have thought of that and not based my answer upon somebody that we've already seen in the film, then definitely.
There's just so much emphasis that was put on her, and she's like in the wind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that would be, to me, the ultimate. I don't think it'd be over the top. I think it would be perfectly fitting. The explanation on why she had to fake her death and all that stuff would be interesting, but I mean,
and that
I think
ties into the faking of John Wick faking his death too. You know, it could be like, oh shit, they hit us with a double and doubling up on us. You know, like not only John Wick faked his death, but his wife also faked her death. And that could get his wheels turning too. Like, I just faked my death. Oh shit. Maybe
Although my heart is breaking as I say these words because I doubt that they'll ever do this. And that's unfortunate.
Oh,
But,
dude, you want to talk about it? It would be the ending that would be deserved. It would be kind of like when we reviewed Knock at the Cabin, and the author of his book, author of the book, was like, "Man, the M. Night Shyamalan's ending was way worse." And then we read his ending, and we were like, "No, that was the ending we needed.
Yeah.
It was in the book." I mean, you know what I'm saying? So you want to talk about how devastating it would be right there at the end to find out that his wife was part of the high table. And then, you know, he said, look, you know, I love you. And so we're dying together. Bam, bam. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there might be a tear shed. It might be an emotional moment. We might need some sad music, you know, with that.
I mean, it could be spun in either way. Either she's evil or she was good, but she had to do it because she loved him so much and John Wick was being threatened, and so she had to come work for the high table or else.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That kind of stuff, yeah. So there's a lot they could do with it, and they could do it in a way that's not cheesy, and they could pull it off brilliantly. So can somebody get me on the phone with Keanu? Let me just tell him what I gotta say, and I think he'll listen.
That's such a good one.
Yeah.
And you know what an opportunity that I think they missed, but maybe they could they use it in the future? It's always talked about how he got out of the assassin game.
Oh,
the crazy thing he had to do. Like the crazy thing he had to do. Oh my God, dude. I mean, that it's got to be in the works. You know what I'm saying? The crazy shit he had to do to get out of the assassin game. You know what I'm saying? To lead into his time with his wife into John Wick, the first one. So, I mean, hey, I'm like, man, there's an opportunity there because the way it made it seem, it's like, yeah, I asked him to do something that no man should survive, do the impossible, and he did it. I was just like, we want to see the impossible. What was the impossible? We want to see it. We're excited for that. Ryder, do you have any theories for the potential John Wick 5?
I think Corey just has the best theory out of anything that I could possibly come up with. I think it's a super solid theory, and I hope that they go with that because it would make a lot of sense. It's a really good twist ending. It would bring a finality to the entire series. You know, everything about his wife. It's really all, like he said, it was all, you know, about his wife, and he's always constantly referencing him. I don't think he's had any poon since his wife died. Man needs some poon. Bring his wife back so we can get some freaking poon, bro. You know,
get some of that center cut.
Maybe that would solve some of his freaking problems. All right, so I think
6 out filet.
That's probably the best theory that they should do it. Absolutely right, freaking Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is one that produced this.
I believe so. Lionsgate. Right,
Lionsgate, bro, because that's a fantastic theory, and I think they should roll with that. It'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
To not address, like, his wife was brought up in obviously the theme of the first, brought up again in the second, not so much in the third, none at all in the fourth one, except I think the flashback scene at the end where he's like with her or something.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But she just kind of the emphasis on her has diminished. So if they were to come out with the twist and it's her, that would be the biggest punch in the gut, period, because everyone would have forgotten by then. Everyone would have forgotten about the wife by the end of the next film because they didn't barely mention her at all this one. So, yeah, I think she is the undeserved star of the series, and she's never even, she's not even in the damn series. They could work some miracles with that theme.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Well, here's some information because we want to bring y'all a little info. If this is in fact true or not, we're not exactly sure, but this is directly from Rotten Tomatoes, and I'll actually bring it up here on the screen so people can see this. I want everybody to see this. The what's next for John Wick. Now it says right up here at one point a Chapter 5 was going to be filmed back to back with Chapter 4, but once the end of Chapter 4 was submitted, the 5th installment was scrapped. Do you think that's actually the case, or you think they're just leading us on, Corey?
No, lying.
Lying. Okay. All
lying.
right.
Like 2 months ago, I watched a thing on John Wick 4, and they straight up said in this, it was like one of those little 5-minute snippets you find on Twitter or something, right? And like they went into the filming of part 4 and all this stuff. This is at least 2 months ago. And they straight up said, in no uncertain terms, they filmed 4 and 5 back to back. Period. They said it. I heard it with my own ears. And so the idea that they're dropping information that there's not going to be another one, or that this is complete fiction, because they're going to try to come up with a way to make John Wick 5, but like not spill the beans that he's not dead yet. Because how you can have a John Wick 5 if John Wick's dead, right? So they're doing some like mental gymnastics on how to scope this, how to come up with this next movie and not spill the beans that he's not dead yet. So I have a feeling they probably already filmed the goddamn thing, because I heard them say it with my own ears. So unless that news story I saw was completely wrong, then this is all bullshit.
Okay.
And you're not under any circumstances going to have a post-credit scene without a fucking follow-up movie.
Unless it's a follow-up movie for the overall universe, the John Wick universe. Maybe we're universe building, because they're gonna have some spin-offs of this. I'm just letting you know.
I don't want spin-offs.
Have some spin-offs.
I don't want spin-offs. I don't want a TV show.
They're already in the works.
No, they are not. You tell me you are making this up.
No, I'm not. There's already 3 of them in the works. Lionsgate chair Joe Drake argued that you certainly could interpret that ending in different ways. We're all going to take a tiny rest here and then scratch at ideas about whether there's a credible way to get into 5, but there's no guarantee. Go ahead, Ryder.
Yeah, I think that isn't it going to be a TV show? Isn't it going to be a series for the?
I think there's going to be a couple movies and a TV series. I think the TV series is going to be young Winston before he was actually able to secure his spot as a Continental manager. I think that one's going to be the TV series. But it actually says up here that Keanu Reeves is set to appear in the upcoming spinoff Ballerina, which stars Anna de Armas and takes place between Parabellum and Chapter 4. So it's already said that's going to come about already. Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you think about that, Ryder?
They have to keep. They want to make money, dude. So they're gonna take something that's successful and awesome and crazy good that everybody loves. That's an action movie. That's a throwback to all of these previous action movies. That pays homage to all of those, and they want to run it into the ground. That's what they're doing. I mean, why make a spin-off show? It's like what they did with The Walking Dead. They made the Fear of the Walking Dead. It's like they did with the freaking Family Guy. They made American Dad, Bob's Burgers. It's like, it's a common trope with anything that's successful. They just make a freaking spin-off. They did it with Breaking Bad. They made Breaking Bad, then they made, what's the Better Call Saul. But Better Call Saul is freaking phenomenal. It's a crazy good show, which the new season is getting ready to drop on Netflix. Fantastic show. Probably on equal with Breaking Bad, I would say. But it's a common thing. Game of Thrones did it. They did the spinoff of House of Dragon, So, I mean, it's not surprising that they're doing this now. Should they do it? No. They shouldn't do it. But are they going to do it? Yeah, they're going to do it.
Corey, how do you feel? How do you feel about these spinoffs?
No,
do you
fuck
think
these
they'll be
spinoffs.
successful?
No, there's no such thing as anything pure in life anymore. You're just like everything is made of sand, and this is fucking proving it.
But what if they're good?
They're gonna suck.
Manston already hit it with it, bud. Put them in the ground, guys.
Now, if this wasn't going to be a Netflix show, Like if they weren't going to do, I don't know if it's going to be a Netflix spinoff show. Now, if it was going to be an HBO spinoff show,
it kind of has to
story.
Be. It has to be. If they got to go with one of these networks that are able to do something edgy.
Yep.
They just have to. And HBO seems. Well, no, Showtime did have Dexter, and that was. But I don't know. HBO's at the top of his game as far as series goes.
Yep.
They probably had the most successful series overall. Starz had a good one with Spartacus, but I don't think they've really released anything since then. Golly, what HBO had Game of Thrones, House of Dragon, The Last of Us, Boardwalk Empire. The first season of Westworld was good. So I mean, they had all kind of hits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they have True Detective? Was True Detective HBO?
True Detective, True Blood. Like they just been knocking it. It was HBO.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah. So when we talk True Blood, I mean when we talk about like TV series like being highly acclaimed, having eyeballs on them, HBO is the way to go. They seem to have the best writers around, or people are looking for their talent anyway. So if they did it that way, then it may be something worthwhile. But we are expected to see some spinoffs here. I've heard 3. Of course, we've seen Ballerina, The Continental, which is Young Winston. I can't remember what the other one was that somebody was grumbling about, but I think there was another one that we're grumbling about as far as a spinoff. And Corey's got something that is just burning on his heart. I see it.
No, they just got to come out with some action figures and a video game and fuck every other goddamn spinoff show. Okay. I don't know what the numbers are on TV and content consumption from major studios goes, but I can tell you that video games are a multi-billion fucking dollar industry every year. And that we need to start these ideas and these themes need to start being put into video game form and promoted as a movie instead of making other shit fucking movies that are spin-off of something great, right? Like a John Wick video game. How many John Wick video games could you come up with? How many fucking millions of copies of a John Wick video game would you sell like that? Imagine an MMO where you're in John Wick's fucking world and you get to go around the world and go to stay at the different continentals. I mean, that'd be amazing. There'd be a first-person shooter with John Wick. I mean, like, there's so much you could do with it. There's so much more. They'll make so much more money if they do that. But for some reason, we are seemingly as a society stuck on this legacy, non-interactive television kind of consumption format. Things need to change. And I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Hey, look, that's fine. I might have some bad news for the Continental series, which is a limited TV series. That is scheduled to premiere in September, but is scheduled to premiere on Peacock.
You're shitting me.
Fuck.
No. Peacock.
Okay,
yes.
So from this moment forward, we shall never speak of this spinoff on Peacock.
I'm just like, how dangerous is it going to be on Peacock?
Not too. And I bet the lead's going to be a woman.
It's got to be Winston, man.
Nope. Telling you, the lead's going to be a woman. He's going to be her bitch. That's the deal.
Dear Lord, hey, y'all heard it first from Corey. Speaking of spinoff woman, be the bitch. Well, they can't have Lance Reddick in it, so I guess they're going to have to find him a new Negro. We'll put in there. Yeah, I said Negro. It's okay. All right. Negro of Negro descent. Okay. They have to find him a new one. All right. Which is kind of bad because for my game, he was the voice of Zavala, so I actually don't know what they're going to do in Destiny 2 either.
He was in Destiny 2?
Yeah, he's the voice of Zavala.
Oh, because I know he played a lot of Destiny 2, but I didn't know he was in it also.
Yeah, he's the voice of an actual significant character in the game, one of the leaders.
Imagine you're like in a guild,
city.
imagine you're playing a game and you're in a guild and you got like these 5 close friends and you hop on like Skype one day and it turns out one of them is like a famous fucking rock star or movie star. It'd be pretty fucking wild.
He'd be like, wow.
You know, Henry Cavill plays like The Witcher, right? So like, yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah. That's that's the spinoffs coming from John Wick. You've gotten the theories on what we're expecting to see in a John Wick Chapter 5, which is trying to say that may not even happen, that we kind of filmed, but we didn't film. And it's not coming to a theater near you sometime in 2025. So don't worry about any of that stuff, all right? None of that stuff is actually happening, even though it's in post-production. And yeah, that's the way we want to kind of keep this, okay? That's the way we want to kind of keep this. Keep it under wraps. Who leaked that shit out? That's what we want to know. Who leaked it out? We're looking for the person who leaked it out. Can we call somebody for them? An assassin. That's what we're trying to figure out. So yeah, that's John Wick 4, guys. Definitely a great watch. Great use of your time. Fun movie. Extremely violent movie. Action throughout, which is what we expect to see from the John Wick series. Could we say that the John Wick series might be definitely top 5 as far as action series of all time? If not number 1 or 2.
Well, I think the problem is that like to find number 1 or 2, we got to go back 20 years. You know what I mean? Like something like maybe Terminator or Terminator 2 or, you know, something of that era or genre that had as big of an impact. And I think just over time, people forget, you know, if we make a list of top 5 movies, like Casablanca ain't going to be in it, but I guarantee you 50 years ago, it would have been, you know what I mean? So, it's hard to say. I'd say in the modern era, and let's just say post 2000, 100%.
It's hard because you got the Mission Impossible franchise, you got Rambo franchise, you got Terminator, like Corey just said. Yeah, I would say it's probably maybe in the top 5, at least in the top 10, at least.
Yeah, let's say top 10 with absolute certainty. I'd probably put it in the top 5. Like if I think of an action movie that I want to go see, John Wick comes to mind. You know what I mean? I don't think Terminator or how many movies have come out that were great that sequels just ruined it. You know what I mean? That you don't even, so you just,
this is true.
You know, so so the pressure's on right now. For as far as I'm concerned, the pressure's on. John Wick 5 has to be the best one of them all, and it has to wrap everything up, and he has to defeat the table, and he has to go free. And I like the idea with the wife, but I mean, even the wife aside, you know, he needs to take out the table. The table's got to go. His mission in the last one and the third one was to take out the table. He didn't do that, and now he's dead.
Right.
So it should be interpreted that the table won. So fuck that. He can't. That is how the fuck can the John Wick series end with the table winning? It just does not work for me. So yeah, and we don't know anything about the hierarchy of the table, who runs the table. Not what leaves a lot of opportunity. So.
Yes, it
Overall,
is.
I'm going to give this one 8.5 cubes out of 10.
8.5. 8.5. Okay. All right. I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah.
With really the weakest, for me, the weakest point of the movie was nobody. Like he was just irrelevant, had no purpose. Didn't provide anything fresh to the film. It was just he was just an extra thrown in there for filler. I don't know why.
Okay. Ryder, where are you at?
I'm at a solid 9 cubes out of 10. I think that it would have been a 9.5 if it wouldn't have been as long. I think they could have shortened up a few things in there, and it would not have made a huge impact in the film.
In Japan. Stayed in
Japan, baby. Yeah, stay with them Japanese women. But yeah, 9 cubes out of 10.
I'm right there with you. I'm 9 out of 10 as well. Oh God, when we went to Japan, I really wanted to explore Japan more. I mean, I really did. I wanted to explore Japan more. But yeah, 9 out of 10, and everybody kind of agrees here, which is kind of weird. Tomato meter's 94%. Audience score is 94%. IMDb actually has a little bit lower rating. They're 8.4 out of 10. So everybody's pretty much in consensus as something that's a must watch. No doubt. We hope we get a John Wick 5 and they're not bullshitting. And we'll see how these spinoffs are on Peacock. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how the Peacock spinoff is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there probably won't be any cursing. You won't see any blood. You know what I'm saying? That might get one person might get shot. You know, in the whole limited TV series. So yeah, that's John Wick 4. We appreciate you guys for listening to us on this extended version because there was plenty to talk about in this particular film. Unlike the past ones we've been reviewing, quite a few of the past ones which have been really dog shit. This one's actually good. Okay, so definitely go check it out. We appreciate everybody for coming by from your boy XQ420. The powerful one, Corey Hughes, the aficionado himself, Ryder Lee. We'll catch y'all on the next Showtime with the Cube. And maybe my camera won't die on me. Peace out.